There's a strange paradox in life that no one teaches us in school, but we all feel it. The harder we try to force something, success, love, creativity, and even inner peace, the further it seems to slip away. We're told to hustle, to grind, to push through. But deep down, there's a quiet voice that whispers, this isn't working. That voice is ancient. It's the same voice the legendary samurai Musashi heard centuries ago when he put down his sword, looked at the chaos of life, and realized that mastery didn't come from effort alone. It came from something more elusive, something like no mind. Musashi's insight was radical. Trying too hard is the surest way to fail. And today we'll explore why that's not laziness, it's wisdom. We're about to dismantle one of the most deeply embedded myths in modern life, that effort alone guarantees results. Let's begin with a question I want you to really sit with. Why do we try so hard? Often it's fear. Fear of being left behind. Fear of not being enough. Fear that if we stop pushing, we'll be forgotten. So we overthink, we overplan, we obsess over outcomes. But when you observe nature, when you watch a cat leap onto a ledge, or a stream carve out a canyon, you begin to see something different. Nature doesn't force, it flows. The cat doesn't calculate its jump with spreadsheets. The stream doesn't push harder, it adapts. And yet, both achieve incredible precision. This is what Musashi tapped into. As Japan's most undefeated duelist, he knew that tension in the mind leads to mistakes. In his Book of 5 Rings, he wrote that the mind must be uncluttered, like a mirror reflecting nothing, yet ready to reflect everything. That's not passivity. That's presence. Trying too hard clutters the mirror. It makes you slow, rigid, and blind to the moment.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
You've probably experienced this in small ways. Maybe you've tried to impress someone and ended up awkward. Or you've rehearsed a speech so much that you went blank when it mattered. Or tried to sleep so desperately that you stayed awake all night. That's the paradox of effort. When it comes from fear, it backfires. Because fear contracts us. It narrows our awareness. It tenses our muscles. It locks us into outcomes. And when you're locked into a specific outcome, you're no longer dancing with life, you're fighting it. Musashi understood that the warrior who tries to win is already at a disadvantage. Why? Because he's thinking about winning instead of being. Instead of adapting to the moment, he's stuck in his mind. And the mind, when overengaged, becomes the enemy of flow. So ask yourself, where in your life are you trying so hard to succeed that you've forgotten how to simply move? This insight isn't just for combat. It's for everything: art, relationships, business, even healing. We live in a culture obsessed with willpower. Push harder, wake up earlier, do more. And yes, discipline has a place. But Musashi wasn't indisciplined, he was disciplined without attachment. That's the key. He practiced relentlessly, but he didn't cling. He moved fluidly, without forcing. This is the deeper meaning of effortless effort, a concept Zen monks speak of constantly. True mastery, Musashi taught, is not when you force the world to bend to you. It's when you become so attuned that the world flows through you. So here's the question: what would happen if you stopped trying so hard and trusted your preparation? What if success wasn't about more struggle, but about less interference? No mind, full power, how letting go beats overthinking every time. There's a state of mind the Japanese call mushin, literally, no mind. It's not emptiness in a dull sense. It's clarity without clutter. It's the mind that's not obsessed with itself. And for Musashi, this was the secret to power. The swordsman who enters a duel thinking about victory, fear, or technique is already off balance. But the one who enters with mushin calm, fluid, free, is already half won. And that applies to us. Watch any master, whether it's a martial artist, a musician, a chess grandmaster, or even an entrepreneur in flow, and you'll see the same thing. They're not straining. They're not overthinking. They're moving from intuition. And that intuition only works when you stop micromanaging every thought. Let's go deeper. Overthinking is not intelligence, it's friction. And friction slows everything down. Have you ever noticed how the most confident people speak simply? They don't need to sound smart. They don't need to explain themselves 10 times because they're rooted. They trust their instincts. Overthinkers, on the other hand, are constantly rehearsing, editing, doubting. They're not present, they're performing a version of themselves. And that performance takes energy. Real intelligence is silent when it needs to be. It observes, it adapts, it acts without 100 internal arguments. This is why Musashi avoided fixed methods. He warned against having a favorite weapon or a preferred stance. He wanted to be formless, able to shift without hesitation. That's no mind in action. And it's what we lose when we try too hard to control everything. There's a great story from Musashi's life that captures this perfectly. In one of his most famous duels, he arrived late intentionally. His opponent, a renowned swordsman, had been waiting in the sun, growing anxious and angry. Musashi, calm and unreadable, stepped off his boat, carved a wooden sword from an oar, and won the fight in seconds. Why did he win? Not because he had better technique, but because he controlled the rhythm. He let go of conventional forms. He created psychological space. He set the tempo. This is a forgotten art in modern life, setting your own rhythm. Most of us are reacting, scrolling, chasing, comparing. We're in someone else's tempo, but trying too hard to catch up only makes us fall further behind. What if, instead, we slow down and let the world adjust to our pace? This brings us to perhaps the most powerful insight of all. Letting go is not giving up, it's stepping in. When you stop trying to dominate every moment, you make room for presence. And presence is where real power lives. It's where creativity emerges, where timing becomes perfect, where your body and mind move as one. Musashi didn't defeat 60 men because he was lucky. He won because he stopped trying to win. He became the fight. He flowed into it. He was the moment. So I ask you now, where in your life are you fighting the moment instead of becoming it? That's the place where effort is turning into resistance. And resistance is the enemy of mastery. The art of doing without forcing mastery, flow, and the end of effort. By now, you've probably started to feel the weight of the truth we're unraveling. That most of our life's tension comes not from what we're doing, but from how we're doing it. We're not just working hard, we're clenching. We're not just striving, we're gripping. We want control, certainty, praise, validation, and outcomes we can predict. But life doesn't respond to control, it responds to alignment. Musashi's genius wasn't that he eliminated effort. It's that he transformed it. He practiced endlessly, yes. He studied form, rhythm, timing, and strategy. But when he stepped into the arena, he let all of that go. He didn't try to recall his training. He trusted it. He moved from instinct. That's not laziness. That's the highest form of discipline, the one where practice disappears and becomes you. That's the art of doing without forcing. Think about the last time you were truly in flow. Maybe it was during a conversation where you weren't planning what to say, but everything just came out right. Or maybe you were creating something, writing, painting, coding, and time disappeared. That's the state Musashi lived for. That's where mastery lives. But here's the twist: you can't try to enter flow. It only happens when you stop trying. Flow is allergic to tension. It requires surrender not to chaos, but to truth, and to the rhythm of the moment. It's no coincidence that the best athletes, artists, and thinkers often describe their peak moments as effortless, as if something was moving through them. They weren't pushing. They were allowing. So why do we spend so much of our lives doing the opposite, forcing, faking, manipulating? Because we've been conditioned to believe that if we're not struggling, we're not succeeding. That belief is a lie. And not just a little lie, a dangerous one. It keeps us trapped in cycles of burnout, anxiety, and self-sabotage. We confuse exhaustion with achievement. But Musashi teaches us that true power is quiet. It's not frantic. It's not desperate. It's clear, calm, and ready. And it comes from within. This is the shift we need to make, from effort to energy, from forcing results to aligning ourselves with the moment, from overthinking to overtrusting. That doesn't mean we stop showing up. It means we show up differently. We train hard, but we don't cling. We plan, but we don't obsess. We care, but we don't need. That's how you move from tension to presence, from fear to flow. So here's the final question I leave you with, one that Musashi would have asked in silence, through the edge of his blade, through the stillness of his stare, up. What would happen if you stopped trying to win and just became the kind of person who can't lose? Not because you're chasing outcomes, but because you've transcended them. Because you've trained so deeply, surrendered so fully, and trusted so completely that you no longer need to force anything. You simply move effortlessly with life. That's not just philosophy, that's freedom. And it doesn't come when you try harder. It comes when you let go.